Today, we're gonna talk about setting boundaries with your friends, which could also be any other relationships, other family members, romantic relationships, and why it's so important to set those boundaries.
Hi friends! Today we're going to talk about setting boundaries when it comes to communicating with your friends and your family and your loved ones. And we wanted to share a story specifically about setting boundaries because I think that sometimes when we share stories, which we did in our last video, those kind of tend to resonate with you guys a little bit more. So we're going to start to do more of that. So what we want to talk about is setting boundaries, and here's the story. We went out for dinner in the city to a wonderful gluten-free restaurant, probably just like 2 weeks after everything that happened in Charlottesville, the rallies, the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville happened. And I was feeling so overwhelmed with emotion around that. And we were in the cab and I said something to Jen along the lines of like, can you believe that something like this would happen in our world today? It was very much like a conversation starter of a line to kind of say, this is how I feel. I want to engage you in conversation on it.
I have been very conscious about setting boundaries, not only with like my friends and loved ones, but with what I watch. I know that for me, sometimes watching the news impacts me so significantly that it's just not healthy. For me, talking about things like that, while it's exceptionally important, I have like a threshold where I need to not talk about something anymore, and that's what happened when we were in the cab.
And so Jen kind of shut it down, and at first I was upset by it because I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to talk about it with someone that I felt close to. I wanted to talk about it with someone that I knew had a similar upbringing that I did, and I was not really respecting where Jen was at in her setting boundaries for herself. That little interaction for me really opened my eyes to the importance of kind of the work that Jen was doing, which was creating those boundaries for yourself. Shortly after that conversation with Jen, I ended up actually literally mindful of when I consume news. So between 3 and 3:30 p.m. is my news time. Whenever I want to consume news, I get it in that 30-minute chunk of the day, and if I missed my slot, I missed the slot, and I will do it tomorrow. I cannot consume news for more than 30 minutes a day. And literally Jen's setting her own boundary with stuff helped me to set my own boundary. Getting so anxious and so stressed by consuming news whenever it popped up on my social media feeds, and when you work in social media like I do, you can't escape that. And so what I recognized was, rather than just clicking every headline that felt important as it popped up, I would put those all into a little folder, and between 3 and 3:30, I can get through as many articles as I can get through, and whatever I don't get through, it'll be there tomorrow.
Whatever that area is for you, you set that boundary. Some areas for me might not be super touchy, but for someone else, they might be more uncomfortable and they might say, I don't want to talk about that. And it's about respecting each other's limits and not like pushing our agenda on somebody else. I actually didn't know that you did that 30-minute thing, and I think that that's awesome, and I think I'm probably gonna start doing that because I love it. It's so smart to set that time frame and say, I am not gonna do this for more than X time, and I'm not gonna do it at night before I go to bed.
Can't do it.
Cannot do it. It'll keep me up.
I swear by the 3 p.m. time slot too, guys. If you want to try it on for size, try it on at 3 p.m. because again, you're not starting your day with it. You're allowing yourself to get through the majority of your workday before consuming something that might mentally derail you. And you're not consuming it right before you leave your office and go to the company of your friends and your family, the people that you want to be able to show up happily for. I promise you, if you read news at 4:45, you're not going to be a great person to come home to.
Especially if you're an emotional person and an anxious person like we are, because that stuff like literally will sit with us.
It's triggering.
And it changes our mood. And exactly.
We just talked about how your mood is going to then impact other people's moods as well. So it's about being mindful and intentional of, okay, I know this stuff isn't going to make me feel good. it feels important to me to get some of it anyway.
Yep.
When is the least harmful time for me to get this thing? Everyone is comfortable discussing different things with different people. So maybe your family are the people you don't talk about politics with, and maybe your friends are the people you don't talk about money with. Whatever it is, guys, set your boundaries.
Yes.
And don't be shy or embarrassed about
setting
them and stating them when they need to be stated. I truly believe that by Jen respecting her boundaries, in perpetuity, she's able to show up as a better friend for me for the rest of our lives than if she were to be a chameleon and say, oh, but you know what? Okay, I won't stick to my boundary this time in order to make Julia happy. People pleasing is not the way to go about it ever, guys. Yeah, so we will end up making another video about people pleasing because you gotta do what you know to be right and do that first, because I believe that's how you end up showing up as your best self.
And it's uncomfortable sometimes.
Yes.
It is. It's really not comfortable to say to your friend, your best friend, I cannot talk about this.
Yep.
It is. It's very uncomfortable, but it's a protection, because I know if I started in that conversation, my emotions would get the best of me, and it would in turn probably cause some sort of argument, because my anxiety and my anger and my overwhelming feelings would have spilled over into that conversation, and I probably would have ended up getting us into a fight.
And that was Jen doing the work of practicing her own boundary and doing the work in advocating for herself and being self-aware. And that's at the end of the day what all these videos are about. We want you guys to be self-aware and to not be shy about advocating for yourself. If you guys enjoyed this video,
give it a thumbs up.
hit that thumbs up and hit the bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And
we will see you in 2 weeks.
yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Hi, friends. That's okay.
I do that every time.
Should they just be guys?
No.
Okay. You know, Jen wasn't shy to say, I don't want to talk about this now. She didn't care that it upset me. Because that's not fair. I didn't say that. I didn't mean it in a bad way. I meant
I
it
feel like
that
was some truth that just spilled out.
I meant it in a good way.
Did care.
It's so funny. I admire that she, I admire when people value and fiercely protect themselves. So I actually meant that as a compliment. It totally sounded like an insult.
She didn't care that I felt like crap.
Jen didn't allow my feeling to put herself in a situation that wasn't good for her. That's what I really meant to say, is I really respect and admire anyone that holds tight to their boundaries, because you are doing something so good for yourself every time you do.